Hello. General Hospital today will reveal, as 2026 unfolds, a wave of uncertainty and speculation has swept through the General Hospital fan community, with one persistent question rising to the surface. Is this the year Maurice Benard retires? The beloved actor, who has portrayed the iconic role of Sonny Corinthos for over 3 decades, has long been the emotional and narrative anchor of the show. His potential departure is more than just a change in cast, it signals a seismic shift in the very foundation of the General Hospital universe. With every appearance he makes, every scene he dominates with his presence, fans wonder if it might be one of his last. Maurice Benard's career is closely intertwined with the identity of General Hospital itself. Ever since his debut in 1993, his performance has been praised for its depth, authenticity, and the emotional range he brings to a character that is both a mob boss and a deeply flawed human being. Over the years, viewers have watched Sonny evolve through personal tragedy, mental health struggles, betrayals, love stories, and countless dramatic twists. The question of his retirement is not just about an actor leaving a role, but about the potential end of an era, one that shaped generations of soap opera storytelling. Speculation surrounding his possible retirement in 2026 is not new. For years, Maurice Benard has spoken openly about his mental health journey, his desire to spend more time with his family, and his growing passion for other projects, including his mental health podcast State of Mind. These personal pursuits have led many to believe that he may be preparing to transition away from the demanding schedule of a daytime drama. While he has always shown tremendous commitment to General Hospital and its fans, the growing sense that he might be nearing the end of his run is difficult to ignore. Adding to the intrigue is the fact that General Hospital has seen a number of veteran cast members either scale back their roles or leave altogether in recent years. The show is undergoing a gradual transformation, with a newer generation of characters taking center stage. While Maurice Benard continues to be a pillar of the series, producers may be strategically preparing for a future without Sonny Corinthos. If 2026 does indeed mark his final year, it could be the culmination of a carefully orchestrated storyline designed to honor his legacy, while also ushering in a new era. The emotional weight of a potential farewell cannot be overstated. Maurice Benard has built a profound connection with his audience, not only because of his acting talent, but also due to his openness, vulnerability, and advocacy for mental health awareness. Fans feel a personal bond with him that extends beyond the screen. The mere hint of his retirement has sparked countless social media tributes, messages of gratitude, and nostalgic reflections on how his portrayal of Sonny helped shape viewers' lives and expectations of daytime television. Despite the speculation, no official announcement has been made confirming whether Maurice Benard will retire in 2026. He has neither firmly denied nor confirmed the rumors, choosing instead to focus on his ongoing projects and remaining episodes. This silence has only intensified the curiosity, leaving fans in a state of suspense. For some, this ambiguity feels like a strategic move, perhaps a way to build momentum for a grand exit storyline. For others, it's simply Maurice being Maurice, thoughtful, private, and deeply committed to ending things on his own terms. If this year does turn out to be his last, the writers of General Hospital will undoubtedly face the monumental challenge of crafting an exit worthy of such a legendary character. Sonny Corinthos is not a role that can simply vanish without consequence. His departure would have to echo through every storyline, every character who has ever crossed paths with him, whether through a dramatic death, a heartfelt farewell, or an open-ended disappearance. The narrative choice will carry emotional and symbolic weight for both the characters in the show and the fans watching from home. In the end, 2026 may or may not be the year Maurice Benard says goodbye to Sonny Corinthos. What is certain, however, is that his legacy within the world of General Hospital is secure. His influence on the show, his impact on viewers, and his contributions to the broader conversation around mental health have all solidified his place as one of daytime television's most enduring and respected figures. Whether he remains for another season or chooses to step away, his presence will be felt for years to come. And for the fans who have grown up with Sonny, any decision Maurice makes will be met with both heartbreak and profound gratitude. Maurice Benard, best known for his iconic portrayal of Sonny Corinthos on the long-running ABC daytime drama General Hospital, has increasingly hinted at the possibility of stepping away from acting. Over the years, he has embodied one of the most complex and emotionally layered characters in soap opera history, earning admiration not only for his talent, but for the raw vulnerability he brings to the screen. However, in recent interviews and appearances, Maurice has made it clear that the idea of retirement is no longer a distant concept. It's something he is actively considering with growing seriousness. At this point in his life, Maurice is anything but idle. While he continues to fulfill his commitments to General Hospital, he has simultaneously carved out a deeply personal and impactful space in the world of mental health advocacy. He is the creator and host of State of Mind, a YouTube series that offers candid conversations about mental illness, trauma, healing, and resilience. Through this platform, he has opened up about his own struggles with bipolar disorder and created a safe space for others, especially those in the entertainment industry, to share their journeys. This work has become more than a side project. It's a calling that now occupies a significant portion of his energy and passion. Outside of the professional realm, Maurice is also embracing the joys of his personal life. He is a proud and devoted grandfather, often expressing how much fulfillment he finds in spending time with his family. When he's not on set or filming for State of Mind, Maurice is usually at home, prioritizing moments of connection with his loved ones. For an actor who has spent decades immersed in the relentless pace of daily television production, these slower, more intentional moments represent a shift in values and possibly a preview of a quieter life ahead. This evolving focus is part of the reason many fans and industry insiders believe that a formal announcement from Maurice about his future on General Hospital could be imminent. His reduced public presence on promotional campaigns and interviews, paired with his increased dedication to his personal projects and family life, have only added fuel to the speculation. Viewers have begun to wonder if the show is subtly preparing for his eventual departure, especially as newer characters and storylines begin to take more prominence. It's a natural transition in any long-running series, but when it involves a central figure like Sonny Corinthos, the impact is deeply felt. As of now, Maurice Benard has not issued any official statement confirming or denying his retirement. He has remained relatively quiet on the topic, choosing instead to let his actions speak for themselves. This silence, however, has not gone unnoticed. It has created a vacuum filled with curiosity, anticipation, and even a bit of anxiety from devoted fans who cannot imagine General Hospital without his presence. Yet, for those who have followed his career closely, there's also a profound respect for whatever decision he ultimately makes. Maurice has given his heart and soul to this role for more than 3 decades, and any choice he makes regarding his future is more than earned. In the meantime, the speculation will likely continue to build. Whether he chooses to officially retire this year or later down the line, it is clear that Maurice Benard is at a personal and professional crossroads. The industry, his colleagues, and millions of fans will be watching closely, not just for an announcement, but for how this next chapter of his life unfolds. And whether it's on screen, on his podcast, or simply at home surrounded by family, Maurice's legacy is secure, built not only on the strength of his performances, but on the honesty, compassion, and courage he brings to everything he does. On the other hand, it is undeniable that Port Charles would never be the same without Sonny Corinthos reigning over its streets. His presence is more than just a character on screen. He is the heart of the city, the force that balances chaos and control in a world built on power, loyalty, and survival. For over 30 years, Sonny has not only been a central figure in General Hospital, but he has become an institution unto himself, shaping the tone and direction of the series through his triumphs, his mistakes, and his internal struggles. To many, he is more than just a fictional mob boss. He is the face of the show, its emotional anchor, and a symbol of both strength and vulnerability. Without him, the rhythm of Port Charles would feel offbeat, its pulse slowed, its edge softened. The streets he once controlled would be marked not just by the absence of his authority, but by a void that no new character could ever fully replace. Sonny Corinthos has always been, and in many ways will always remain, the embodiment of the show's soul, even if one day his story must come to a close. What comes next for Maurice Benard remains one of the most talked about questions among longtime fans of General Hospital. While speculation about his possible retirement has grown louder in recent months, there's a significant portion of the audience who hope and strongly believe that Maurice won't be leaving the canvas anytime soon. Many viewers have drawn comparisons to veteran soap legends like John McCook of The Bold and the Beautiful and Eric Bredon of The Young and the Restless, both of whom have remained with their respective shows for decades. Even as they occasionally take on smaller or less central storylines, their continued presence brings a sense of history, stability, and emotional depth that can't be replicated. Fans of General Hospital argue that Maurice Benard, in his role as Sonny Corinthos, belongs in that same pantheon, a legacy character who should remain on the show for as long as he chooses, regardless of how prominent his role may be from week to week. Despite his previous statements about possibly stepping back from acting and prioritizing time with his family, it's important to remember that Maurice has always been candid about his need for balance and purpose in his life. He has never shied away from speaking openly about the demands of his career, his mental health journey, or his desire to pursue other meaningful work such as his ongoing podcast and advocacy for mental health awareness. However, none of these personal endeavors necessarily require him to walk away from the role that helped define his career. In fact, many believe that continuing with General Hospital, even in a more limited capacity, would allow Maurice to honor both sides of his identity, the actor committed to his craft, and the individual seeking fulfillment beyond the spotlight. In other words, it's entirely possible that Sonny Corinthos is not going anywhere. Even if fans begin to notice a temporary reduction in his on-screen presence in the weeks, or even months ahead, the show may be adjusting his schedule or gradually shifting focus to other storylines. But that doesn't mean an exit is imminent. Longtime soap viewers know that characters can ebb and flow in prominence without disappearing altogether. In fact, these quieter periods often serve to build anticipation for future arcs, allowing actors like Maurice the flexibility they need while preserving the continuity that fans cherish. As of now, Maurice Benard has not issued any further comments regarding his status on the show. His silence has left fans guessing, but also hopeful. For many, the lack of an official announcement suggests that no final decision has been made or that the door remains open for him to continue in a way that suits his evolving priorities. Until he speaks publicly, the speculation will continue, but so too will the optimism that he remains firmly part of General Hospital's present and future. General Hospital airs weekdays on ABC. Check your local listings for airtimes, as schedules may vary by region. Be sure to stay tuned to see how the stories continue to unfold in Port Charles, especially as questions surrounding Sonny Corinthos' fate linger just beneath the surface. And don't forget to check back regularly for the latest news, episode updates, and exclusive spoilers from General Hospital. Whether Maurice Benard is at the center of the drama or stepping back momentarily, his presence continues to shape the heart of the show in ways both visible and enduring. Yet, if history has taught General Hospital fans anything, it is that the show thrives on reinvention, on building new chapters, while honoring the legacy of the past. Maurice Benard, whether consciously or not, is now standing at the intersection of two timelines, one that celebrates the weight of everything Sonny Corinthos has represented for over 3 decades, and one that whispers the promise of something unknown, something possibly final. But finality, in the world of Port Charles, is rarely permanent. Characters return, stories twist, and legacies are redefined in moments of quiet reflection or explosive confrontation. And therein lies the mystery that keeps viewers glued to their screens. What if this is not the end, but a recalibration? What if Sonny Corinthos is being repositioned not for an exit, but for a rebirth, a darker turn, a redemptive arc, a betrayal so personal, so gut-wrenching, that it reignites the character in ways no one expects? The writers at General Hospital have proven time and again that just when fans think a story has peaked, it pivots. Perhaps Maurice's reduced screen time is part of something larger, something more deliberate. A masterstroke, not a farewell. Off-screen, Maurice may be carving a deeper path as a mental health advocate, but on-screen, the writers may be quietly laying the groundwork for one of Sonny's most defining battles yet. Imagine a storyline that mirrors Maurice's real-life journey with bipolar disorder 1, that explores the cracks behind the empire Sonny built, the relationships he sacrificed, the trauma he never faced, a slow unraveling, a psychological reckoning, not an exit, but an evolution, a chance to reflect, not retreat. For an actor who has always blurred the line between performance and truth, this could be the arc that brings his artistry full circle. At the same time, the show may be preparing the next generation of Port Charles Titans. But can any character truly fill the void Sonny would leave behind? The short answer, no. The long answer, not yet. That's why the timing of any decision Maurice makes will be critical. Step away too suddenly, and the equilibrium of General Hospital risks being shaken. Stay too long without purpose, and the legacy risks fading into quiet repetition. But strike the balance just right and Maurice could help usher in a new era. While still holding the torch, there's also the question of how General Hospital itself will respond. If Maurice does choose to step back gradually, will the show pivot to position Carly, Michael, or even Dante into power vacuums left in Sonny's absence? Will enemies rise to reclaim the streets? Will Jason Morgan return from the shadows? Or will a new threat emerge that only Sonny, older, more fragile, more human, can confront? As the weeks go on, viewers will be reading between every scene. Every moment Sonny appears and disappears, listening for the unspoken signals. Is this just the calm before the next storm? Or are we truly witnessing the beginning of a long goodbye? One thing is certain: whatever decision Maurice makes, it will not go unnoticed. Because when a legend moves, the ground beneath Port Charles trembles. For now, fans continue to wait. They refresh their timelines. They analyze spoilers. They cling to hope. Because General Hospital without Maurice Benard is hard to imagine. Not just because of Sonny Corinthos, but because of the authenticity, raw emotion, and humanity that Maurice has brought to daytime television for over 30 years. He is more than a character. He is a legacy in motion. So stay tuned. The story is far from over. And if General Hospital has one more groundbreaking chapter to tell, you can bet that Maurice Benard, whether in the spotlight or in the shadows, will be at the heart of it. If Maurice Benard truly does decide to take his final bow, whether this year or further down the road, the question then becomes, how will General Hospital write the closing chapter for Sonny Corinthos? If such a chapter is indeed approaching, for a character who has survived mob wars, betrayals, personal tragedy, and his own inner demons, the send-off would need to be nothing short of monumental. It couldn't be a quiet fade into the background. It would have to reflect everything Sonny has stood for: his contradictions, his resilience, his ruthless loyalty, and most of all, his humanity. There are whispers in fan circles that the writers might already be setting the stage for such a transformation. Subtle shifts in Sonny's demeanor, emotional distances widening between him and those he once held closest, recurring themes of legacy, redemption, and self-reflection. The possibility of Sonny being forced to reckon with his past, not just as a mob boss, but as a father, a friend, a man who built his empire on blood and loss. What happens when the most feared man in Port Charles finally becomes vulnerable in a way that bullets and betrayals could never make him? At the same time, the show may be laying down seeds for a power transition. Viewers have noticed the rise of newer characters, some of them allies, some not, who could either carry on Sonny's legacy or attempt to erase it entirely. Michael Corinthos has already shown both admiration and rebellion. Dante, though loyal, often carries a quiet weariness of constantly cleaning up after his father's messes. And Jason's absence has left a vacuum that no one has successfully filled. Could Sonny's departure ignite a battle not just for control of the territory, but for the soul of Port Charles itself? And then there's Carly. Few characters have been as intertwined with Sonny's story as she has. Whether as lovers, co-parents, or bitter adversaries, their lives have been a mirror to one another. If Sunny were to step aside, what would Carly become without him to push against, to challenge, or to save? Would she rise again or unravel? Their dynamic, no matter how evolved, remains one of the most emotionally volatile and narratively rich relationships on the canvas. Any exit for Sunny would need to explore that bond one last time without sentimentality, but with raw, unflinching honesty. For Maurice Benard, portraying such a final arc would likely be both cathartic and challenging. It would give him a chance to close the loop, not only on Sunny's story, but on the real-life emotional depth he's brought to the role over the years. He has never treated Sunny as a caricature. He has always infused him with conflict, compassion, and contradiction. And in doing so, he redefined what a soap opera anti-hero could be, not just someone dangerous, but someone deeply human. Still, all of this remains in the realm of speculation. Maurice could very well remain for years to come, choosing instead to scale back, to appear periodically while focusing on his podcast, his family, and his mission to destigmatize mental illness. And honestly, many fans would welcome that compromise. A recurring Sunny is still better than no Sunny at all, because for loyal viewers, his presence isn't about how many minutes he gets per episode, but about the gravitas he brings when he appears. He doesn't just walk into a room, he commands it. And in a genre built on shifting alliances and vanishing characters, that kind of legacy is rare. So what's next? Perhaps nothing changes for now. Perhaps Sunny will continue to sip his coffee at the Metro Court, issue quiet threats in darkened corners, and offer unexpected wisdom to younger characters spiraling out of control. Or perhaps we're in the calm before a storm, the kind of story that rewrites everything we thought we knew about Sunny Corinthos. Whatever lies ahead, the audience is watching closely, with hope, with fear, with respect, because Maurice Benard is not just an actor, he's a storyteller, and storytellers don't just vanish, they transform. Stay with us. The next chapter might be the most unforgettable yet.